Welcome to SEC Plus. Gary Laney of Advance Digital, along with Ron Higgins to my left of NOLA.com, and to my right, Andrew Gribble of AL.com. And this week we're talking about the best defensive players in the SEC for 2014. You can vote in our poll that opened yesterday at both AL.com and NOLA.com. And guys, it's way too early to be looking at this. And this time last year, nobody was talking about Michael Sam, who ended up winning the award. But Ron, you have a candidate who has the credentials already, the only returning first-team All-American in the SEC on the defensive side.
Absolutely. Ole Miss free safety Cody Pruitt, who really I've tracked throughout his career. I mean, having worked in Memphis before I came to New Orleans and saw him almost from day one. And here's a kid. He's got the size, 6'2", 220. He's been second on Ole Miss's team the last 2 years in tackles. He's a sure tackler. He was first last year in the SEC in interceptions with 6. He had 13 pass breakups. He has the closing speed. He takes great angles. He rarely misses a tackle. And he's rated the third best safety in next year's NFL draft. And I think he is absolutely the complete package and has been for a couple of years.
And then, Andrew, you have a guy who was probably by far the most productive defensive player in the SEC last year in terms of tackles.
Yeah, Ramik Wilson of Georgia. Yeah, Ramik Wilson of Georgia had 128 tackles, and that's just a lot. And I know that this Georgia defense had its fair share of issues last year, but you certainly couldn't blame Wilson for what happened. And I think bringing in Jeremy Pruitt, I think that's going to clean up a little bit of the mess in the Georgia defense. And I think there's nowhere to go but up. And I think that he's going to spotlight what Wilson can do at that linebacker position, and maybe he won't get as many tackles this year. But maybe being the leading tackler on a better defense will get him more recognition around the league, and I think that's people know who he is at this time this year. This time last year, no one was talking about Ramik Wilson.
Yeah, and I'm going to bring up Vernon Hargreaves, the cornerback out of Florida, who came in as a true freshman last year in a Florida secondary that already had 2 NFL-bound cornerbacks, really 3. But 2 that are cemented as starters, and he ended up being the best one, arguably, of the 3. Third-team All-American with 3 interceptions. A lot of people think he'll be the premier cover corner in college football. If Florida bounces back, I think Hargreaves really breaks out as a sort of a household name kind of star this year. Guys, I'm going to put you in the spot. I'm going to go to you first, Andrew. Give me a dark horse, and then we'll close it out with your dark horse.
Well, I'll go with A'Shawn Robinson at Alabama, just staying close to home here, just because, he had a big year as a true freshman. And, as we like to see around the SEC, it seems like that sophomore year is the breakout year for some of these pass rushers. And I think Alabama's defensive line is deep. It has a lot of potential, and Robinson is kind of leading the way there. And I don't know if he's reached the status where he's drawing double teams yet, so he might be able to exploit what he's seeing early on in the season and pile up some big numbers.
Ron, how about yours?
I'm going to go with Mississippi State's Chris Jones on the defensive line. He was an absolute load last year. Just a huge guy with quick feet. Sheds blockers really easy. Unbelievable strength. And it could be Chris Jones or it could be Robert Kimbichi of Ole Miss. 2 super freshmen last year coming to their sophomore years.
All right, there you have it. 6 solid contenders for SEC Defensive Player of the Year. But don't forget, this time last year, nobody was talking about Michael Sam. So until Thursday, when we come back to talk about top recruits on the defensive side of the ball in the region, see you next time.